Testing, testing, testing. Is anybody out there? Hello? Maybe turn that down a little bit. Turn it up a little bit. Oh, well, big rock singers. We got golden fingers and we loved everywhere we go. We sing about beauty and we sing about truth at $10,000 a show. Oh, we take all kind of pills that give us all kind of thrills, but the thrills we've never known is the thrill that'll get you when you get your picture on the cover of the Rolling Stone. Rolling Stone. Hey guys, what's going on? Just monkeying about, just mucking about, eh? How are we doing? These are the darkest damn glasses ever. These are like my mom bought these. She's like, these are $4. I got them for you because I thought they were good. I was like, you just said they're $4. I think that cancels out the I thought they were good. I don't think you can get a candy bar for $4 these days. Anyways, there's some fish you can get for $4 though. How are we doing, everybody? Eyes to see, Ollie. What's up, Jan? How are we doing? Fish friends, yay! A stream to keep us company during Sunday water changes. See, that was my thinking. That was my thinking. Was like, hey, I'm up for it. My pain is really bad in my leg right now, but my mind is feeling pretty good. Like I'm not feeling hazy or anything at the moment, and so I'm like, let's just chat. Let's see what's going on out in fishy land. What's going on with my friends? Jeff, good to see you. Uncle Smiley, hello. Siriana, Wenny, hello. We are doing wonderfully. Yeah, I'm good. Nothing to complain about. My wife gets back well, technically tomorrow night, but it's really more like Tuesday morning. It's like sometime around 2 a.m. She's got like a red-eye flight up from LA. She flew into down by Monterey somewhere, like I don't know, San Jose or something, and then or Santa Cruz or Santa Barbara, like one of the Sands. That's not San Diego or I don't, actually she's in San Luis Obispo right now, but I think she's headed to LA tomorrow, and then she'll fly home tomorrow night at like 11 p.m. her flight is or something. So whenever that lands in Seattle, early Tuesday. But that means I need to clean the mess I've made, which is really not that much of a mess. I mean, this is pretty much where I roam. I like roam here and my fish tanks, and I've got, a cat who chewed up a blind, like the metal blind. Somehow she managed to get up there and rip, like hang on it or chew on it or pull it down, and she managed to punch holes in the tin on the blind. So I was like, really, some bite power you got there, little girl. But yeah, she just alternates between windows. Her and I, we've been hanging out, doing our thing. I changed the filter for the first time on the ADA setup, or really the second time. I changed it once just to see like how it went, like about a month into cycling it and everything. So I changed it now, and that means the last time I changed it was in January, like or late December, early January. And the wild part about that is that filter, I thought the top of it, since there's no pre-filter, short of the lily pipe itself, has a grate on it, like some openings, and like that catches plant material, but constantly I'm seeing plant material get sucked into it and boom, right down into the tube. So I was like, well, where's that going? And the way it's set up, there's a void underneath the biomedia. So it feeds into the bottom of the stack of the filter, and then the water goes up to the top. The pump's at the top of the filter. So the canister pulls it up through the biomedia, the coarse biomedia, then the finer, and then the polishing pads are at the top if you want to do that, which I didn't really do polishing pads. I did acrylic batting, like cheap stuff. And then there's the outflow pipe, which has no screen or grate or anything on it for debris or anything. And so now I'm going to hook up the inline CO2 to make sure that I feel like I'm wasting CO2 with the way I'm doing it right now. So hopefully having an inline CO2 will be better. But What's interesting is they tell you to do the CO2 inline before it goes into the filter. And I'm wondering about that because sure, you can do that. And then the CO2 is going to do what to the bacteria though? There's still enough oxygen that I'm not like worried about that. But the bacteria flourishes with oxygen, and any other nitrate processing algae, bacteria, or biofilms, they use light or oxygen. It's one or the other, unless they're anoxic, which definitely they're not in that filter. So the type of system we're set up for is completely oxygen rich. So I'm kind of like, do you really want to be injecting CO2 into that mix there? Or, I mean, at the end of the day, does it all just become an ambient, 1% extra CO2 through the whole system when you're using an inline CO2? So that little bit and piece, I'm not really sure on. People have done the science, they've done the calculations, they've crashed the model rockets. They know that that's the way to do it. So I'm sure there is an explanation and a reasoning. I just want to know it so I can pass it on to you guys, because my intuition would have been to put the CO2 after the filter so that when the clean filter water is coming back into the tank, that's where it's mixing. But maybe the substrate and everything gives it more time to mix in solution to the water. That's probably it. And it's probably just negligible to the bacterial life, the fact that it is that much extra CO2. Joe, hello. Joe Haney, hello. Let's see. Johnny Best, what's up, brother? Good to see you, my man. Always good to see you. I'm glad. I wanted to hop on a stream where I'd catch some folks that I know haven't been able to like always be there, like the times that I've been streaming, kind of the old times. And, because some of those times I've been missing anyways. So I figure I switch it up a little bit. I kind of want to switch up the day anyways from, I don't know what Tuesday or Friday, but I want to switch one of them up so that I can do an earlier stream and then a later stream. Maybe I'll do it on weekends. I don't know for sure yet, but I've been saying that for a year, and then I stay with Tuesdays and Fridays for 6 years. But, and then I miss enough that I feel like I miss enough, like every third one I probably miss. So in reality, to someone observing, it probably looks like I stream sometimes on Wednesday and usually on Tuesday or Friday, and sometimes Saturdays or Sundays. But anyways, thank you so much, Johnny. I see your super chat. And I raise you 10. Thank you very much, man. I really appreciate that. That's very kind of you, brother. Man, like you're already a member. You support so much. I hope everything's going well with you. Yeah, I know it's been a minute since we touched base. I'll have to message you, or we'll have to chat, see what's new, see how life's going. But anyways, guys, so the other thing I was going to say is, so about the filter though, before I derailed myself, because I cannot keep my train of thought on the right tracks ever. It is it's interesting that the filter, this $600 filter, first of all, the only things that I can say other than looks that filter and brand name, if that's something you care about, that filter really offers is it's dead silent. You cannot tell if it's on. I can't even put my ear up to it and tell if it's on. That's how quiet it is. Yet it does, I think, what does it do? 450 gallons an hour or something like that. That one, which is a ton for a 20-gallon tank. Why would you need that? You don't. I mean, it's like that filter. Well, clearly I've kept big tanks with no filter, but I'm just saying, like, even if you need a filter, like if you're somebody who didn't set it up for a non-filter tank, you could put that small ADA filter, that $500 one, you could put that on 100 gallons probably up to, and it would be a workhorse enough to keep things going and to keep things cycled. In my estimation, it still has the surface area potential with all the bio beads and stuff that you can put in there in a stack that's yay big. even though it's small, coffee about the size of a coffee maker, you could easily have enough bio media in there in the form of ceramic beads, and then fine polishing filter and leave out the coarse filter. Just fill it with all medium. That you could keep anything short of like a big predatory like 90 gallon. You could probably keep like a 90 or easily a 75 or a 90 going community tank with, you know, even discus or a few angels or something. Now, maybe you wouldn't want to breed plecos in it or something like that with a ton of poop, or koi, or Oscar, obviously. But I will have to say that like they rate it for like up to 30 gallons in their system. Well, they do it all by liters, but I'm like, in what world? This thing is like a fire hose. Like it's such overkill. And maybe they do that so that you get very clean water, very low nitrates, stuff like that. And nobody can complain and say it wasn't enough, you know? Whereas some of the other brands will fib. They'll say, oh, our filter is good for 10 to 30 gallons. And you're like, that's a range. That's a range right there. And then, you know, the next size up will be 40 to 60 gallons or whatever. And then the next size up will be like 75 to 90. And you're like, it's convenient that these come in the exact sizes of the same company that manufactures the tanks, and that it's only, and it's not linear or exponential. It's actually exponential in the wrong direction. Like the bigger the filter you get, the less it can filter according to the box, even though it should be working the opposite way. Scientifically. But what I was going to say about it is I opened it and I thought there would be tons of organic debris, or at least like mulm and that like hummus, the like smelly. I love the smell. It smells like patchouli, like earth, like fresh peat moss kind of, or like beauty bark, natural beauty bark, not the dyed crap, but it smells kind of like fresh, like freshly decayed, when it's steaming, like a pile of like the wood chips that are like on an autumn day or a spring day when it's kind of cool out and they actually are producing heat because so much breakdowns going on. That smell, that organic smell, that's a little pungent, a little musty, but not at all sulfury or not at all rotten or muddy. That's what it smelled like. And I was like, oh yeah, man, I would wear a perfume or a cologne out of that. It smells like kind of like oud or some of the musks and stuff like that people put into it. I mean, I guess patchouli's a perfume right there, right? But anyways, so I was shocked. There was nothing in it. I like pour it out and there's nothing. There was a little bit of muddy grit, like suspended particles, but something about the force of that pump, I think, was smashing those little leaf particles so hard against this, even just the ceramic filter media in there. I'm guessing that it's either pulling it so hard against it that it's ripping pieces off if it's decaying debris already. But also it is the bacteria in there is clearly intense. Like it is able to break down a lot of load, a lot of bio load. So I was impressed by that filter in that sense. And I thought, well, what could be, what could be special about that in their $500 canister? I don't think it is like that special. I mean, a sponge pre-filter will accomplish the same thing for like $3 on a $50 filter or $100 like Fluval filter. So I'm not going to say that makes it worth it. But I want to, when I review the filter for ADA and AFA, I'm going to be truthful, like I said I would to you guys. But you have to have it for at least a year, I feel like, before you can truly say what's up. And I've had ADA filters in the past, in the sense that I've taken care of them at shops. So I've seen them for like multi-year old. And this goes back 10 years though. 10 to 8 years ago is when my experience ended with that stuff. And then I kind of left it alone and got into the lower tech. And now I'm back, and looking at it again and exploring. Any friends I know, I'm like, hey, can I take a peek at your setup, or how do you like this? Trying to kind of get some feedback at how things have changed or what hasn't changed. What, you know, it's interesting though that the main, like, they don't have a primer on the freaking filter, which drives me freaking mad. There's no primer on the filter, but you can take like a turkey baster, for instance, and you can fill the inflow tube with water, or you could fill it up at the sink or whatever, and then put your thumb over that and have your thumb over both outflow, the inflow and the outflow, and then you can put the outflow underwater all the way so that there's kind of like the thumb on the straw on that end. Then you let go of the intake and quickly put it into the tank. And if you have enough force that you can kind of swing the rope or the tube a little bit and get it just as high as where it dumps in, it will then clear the first slosh of siphon for you, so you don't have to siphon it by mouth. But I'm like, with this $500 or $600 filter for the small size, it goes up to $1,000 filters. I should not have to put my mouth on the damn thing. It should have a button that you push and goes on the Fluval ones. There's a pump that you just simply, you like pull up this handle, twist it, and pump it, and that also serves to clear any clogs at the top if they get matted down vegetation. Oh, hey, what's going on? Is there actual science behind the video of your fish waits their whole life? I'm feeling guilty not playing with mine. Hey, that's an interesting one. No. We don't know, actually. To be honest, to be fair about this, I know people who are scientists, Anthony Mazerall, you curmudgeon, who have said fish don't have feelings. Like, they don't have memories. They don't have like complex. Like, they don't have emotion tied to memory. He's like, they have memory of like, I get food here, but they don't have emotion tied to it. Now, to me, that's crap. That can't be true. You have to have dopamine or serotonin or norepinephrine or some sort of neurotransmitter to literally tell you that that memory is good, bad, or indifferent. Otherwise, it's just static in your brain. It's just freaking electricity firing across calcium and potassium ion channels, gates that have no meaning. It's nothing. It's noise. But they're finding that fish, in fact, I mean, we've known this for many years, that fish do not have, and a lot of people say, well, they don't have pain. They can't feel pain. Well, now we're learning that humans, okay, so humans, like, here's another little, we'll go on a couple tangents here because this is fascinating to me. I could talk about this. And then we will today be looking at dream fish or some of the really cool fish that are for sale online right now. Imperial has a bunch of fish that practically I would never own. So I'm not saying I know anything about these fish, but they have like some platinum and some gold and some like crazy morphs of cichlids and rainbow fish and stuff. And right now, like, they had Gertrude, blue eye pseudomagills for like $6 a pop, which I haven't seen those prices in 10 years, something like that. I mean, no, not, I mean, more like 8 years. Because when they first came out, they were like $30 or $40 when they got big in the hobby again. And specifically the Aru Island ones that Gary and Gary Allen and Gary Lang brought back. But they also have the Madagascar ones. And anyway, we'll look at that later. But let me continue on this tangent that Jan has sent me on. Thank you, Jan, again, for the support as always, but also for the question. And so fish don't play by, they don't seem to have an inherent urge to play, to learn. So like there are social cues and social orders that fish need to understand, and most of that is very instinctual, or rather the fish can live without parents, never witness or be taught something. Now we know that, and yet they'll know how to get home, they'll know how to eat. They'll know how to chase prey and how to like do what they evolved to do, to stay low in the water and attack from below, or to jump out of the water up at bugs, whatever they evolved their body to do. Magically, we call that instinct. But the line between instinct and conscious thought is a really blurry thing. And so, yes, you can teach some fish like betta, you can teach a goldfish even to like jump through a hoop for a reward. They're remembering that there is food somewhere. And yes, you are giving them a good dopamine rush or a little high in their little brain when you give them the food for doing the thing. That being said, inherently, they're not missing out on jumping through hoops. That was not something they needed to know how to do. Getting enough movement in their muscles, getting proper nutrition, all the things that keep a fish healthy, not having high nitrates in the water or pollutants or toxins, that's all stuff that you're keeping your fish healthy and it's fulfilling its needs. And if it's willing to spawn, that's also a really good sign that, okay, it's also in a system that is comfortable enough, that it is willing to risk all that energy that it takes to make a new generation, and that it feels ready and safe enough to do so. And so that to me, if you can get something to spawn or at least color up like it's going to spawn, really good. All that's really good. Keeping on weight, putting on weight, swimming. If you can get video of how things act in the wild, that's the ultimate test of kind of seeing, 20 minutes of a fish swimming around doing its thing. If you can get similar behavior in your tank, to me, that is the gold standard of what we could aspire to provide for our fish if we're caring about their behavior and their needs and their wants and their little dopamine hits. Now, that being said, is your fish ever going to go to college? Is your fish need to have a good credit score? I mean, there's some things that are like, who cares if fish are able to know about credit, or if they're willing to eat one marshmallow now or save that marshmallow and eat two later. You guys know that trick or that old experiment where they give kids around the age of 2 or 3, they give kids one marshmallow and they say, if you don't eat this for 10 minutes, I'll give you another one. But if you eat it, you don't get any more marshmallows. And like half of kids or whatever it is don't get it. They just eat the marshmallow right away because they want it. Instant gratification, done. Now, another chunk of kids, and everyone at some point usually, will then eventually learn, oh, I should wait and get two. It's only 10 minutes, like whatever, that's double the marshmallows. And now the reason I mention this is because they just did this study, and I debated making a whole video on it. And then I was like, I don't know if it's that interesting. So let me know what you guys think. But they did this study with fish. They did it with a number of different species of reef fish. They always do it with marine fish, which drives me nuts. But they did it with marine fish. And I also posted a story the other day about the fish that farms its own algae. It grows algae. Damselfish do this. They grow algae on rocks. And they actually weed all the wrong types of algae that start growing. And then they literally transplant this rare algae that wouldn't be common without damselfish, yet because of damselfish, it is the most common algae in the places they live, to the tune of 70% of the algae. And so fish can do really complex things. They have that ability, which is interesting, without watching their parents. Now, there are some fish like cleaner wrasses, and a number of stone rollers and cichlids that we've seen even more complex behavior in. Blennies too. A lot of the little fish that kind of service bigger fish or that clean things seem to actually be very intelligent, which is interesting. They can remember the order up to 100 fish or more, but about 100. Who was the last shark to swim through the reef that they cleaned? And they always make sure that if there's 2 or 3 present, they go to the one that was serviced the longest to go, so they can remind it, hey, I'm cleaning you. Let me eat all those yummy lice or whatever, those pests that are on you. And the sharks come by for their cleaning, and they can remember that for like a year or two out. So that's an incredible memory. But again, this is not learned behavior in the sense that they have to have a parent around to see it. And so we don't know what that means. And right now we're trying to understand, is there an epigenetic code? Is there a code over the DNA that turns off and on and that tells a fish, start foraging off of these sharks, and beyond that, remember the order? I mean, it's a lot of info. But yet, when you look at the biological world, intelligence as we know it is being completely reshuffled because there are things such as the language. Mormyrids, clearly we know now, speak. And they actually teach, just like those other fish I mentioned a second ago that I said are going to do something more complex. We'll talk about the complex part. The thing they do that's more complex right now that we're talking about is they actually have an epigenetic code. And so the easiest way to think of this is, and we're still learning, like, how do we think of this? But it's kind of like you got your DNA, and these are all the things, the blueprint for how the house is going to be built. But then your epigenetic code is kind of like your interior designer after the house has been built, deciding like, well, do we want to turn that AC on? Should we add a skylight? Should we do marble or granite countertops? So it's kind of like the skeleton of what you're going to be is there. And then the epigenetics, certain conditions and or damage or signals, we're learning that right now. Maybe even like cancer could be in, and we know a lot of cancer is in an epigenetic code where it gets a signal like too much mercury or too much lead or just the right amount of testosterone being produced in the body. And then your body goes, okay, it's time for puberty. And ta-da, you transform into an adult, which, as you know, humans, there's some big old changes that happen in men and women. Well, fish have such huge changes that, like, they oftentimes when they're spawning, like salmon, eels, things like that, without thinking about it, their body literally can change so much from epigenetics that they lose their stomach, their intestines, their esophagus. Eels get rid of their entire digestive tract on the swim from the Azore Islands out to the Sargasso Sea. The Sargasso Sea, they by the time they get out there, that has all been digested by their own body and turned into either eggs in the female or muscle and protein and energy, like pure muscle in the males, or a little bit of fat in the tail if they need it for like super long journey. But what I'm saying is, literally, you've seen how ugly like the hook-beaked salmon can get, and how different, like they can grow sharp teeth and they can get a hump on their back. And you see it with, cichlids oftentimes. They get the big bump on their head. Some animals change their sex. Some change their gender. But, I mean, these things can be triggered genetically. So the last thing I was going to say, though, is then there's the changes that we really are kind of blown away by. And some of them, for instance, like bees can show the other bees in the hive where honey is by doing a dance. And it may be that the first like 4 steps of the dance are saying, hey, everybody, pay attention. I found, and then it'll be like, if he steps this way, it means good food. If he steps this way, like maybe there's 3 different ways he could have started the dance. And if he starts it one way, it means good. If he starts another way, it means really good. And if he starts another way, it means incredible. Like everybody in the hive needs to go check this out. And then the next part of the dance is how far it is in which direction. And then how, like, to the left or right or north or south or whatever, how to get there. It's directions. And how long the dance lasts is a linear and direct correlation to where the food or the pollen or nectar or whatever that they need is. So the other bees watch it. They decide, okay, well, the worker bees decide, okay, well, that means that this many of our buddies are going to fly away because at the beginning of the dance they said this, and at the end of the dance, they said it was really good. So we need to start clearing out some of the honeycomb, or we need to build more chambers in the next hour or two while these guys are gone. And we need to protect the queen because we don't have our soldiers at the door like normal because they're going to go get all this food because it was that good. So all of that is clearly like it could be that it could be that it is instinctual, but there's clearly a reward system, even in an insect, that's saying chemically, like, yes, you need to do this. And it's clearly a good enough reward or dopamine hit or satisfaction, self-esteem, whatever you want to call it, that they do it because it means their survival. That's why we get a little happy feeling when we look at fish or when we look at something we like, when we look at art. It may be that that had something to do with originally looking at a berry. And when you see a bright red berry that's different than the rest of your landscape, and you see that there's a ripe berry of the exact kind, of the exact species that you needed, it's not toxic, you're hungry, it's got vitamin C, it's got vitamin A, E, and you're like, yes, I am now going to live through the winter because I can gather these, I can dry them, whatever. So it pays to have a reward for bright red berry shaped stuff, right? Or whatever it may be. So then your body evolutionarily, though, is not fine tuned enough to say, well, a painting of a berry, that's not real. So let's not give ourselves a reward. So that's how we get these weird addictions, rewards. That's why, scrolling on YouTube, we try to hijack these mechanisms that are very complex and supposedly humans are thinking about it. But at the same time, is that instinct or is that thinking? And it's a little bit of both. In the bees, yeah, it's instinct that they know what the dance means, but different hives have different codes. So they evolve different systems of talking. So they need to socialize in order for that to work. And so when you ask if a fish needs to play, no, a fish doesn't need to play. There are behaviors like playing when you see fish like chasing each other around. A lot of that's for hierarchy or for like dominance, ranking. Sometimes it's territorial, like I just need some space over here, or I plan on putting eggs over here, or this is my food, stay away, I worked hard to find it. Whatever it may be, that behavior, if there's play associated that you should be playing with your fish, it's so that you can then teach your fish to do those behaviors so that it could be a better fish in the sense of building its muscle, building its attack mechanism, or its ability to recognize there is an enemy in my 6 inches of personal space and I'm going to ram it in the side of the gills, So you can reinforce behaviors that fish are doing and it looks playful. They chase each other around. Maybe they're attacking each other. Maybe they're not. Maybe it's just play. Sorry, guys, let me mute this. Who is even sending me stuff? I have it so only like certain alerts are going off that are of a certain importance. And so I'm just like, what was so important that the phone decided to bug us all? Oh, okay, whatever, this video. So anyways, but yeah, so the fish, a lot of times you don't need, like, do you want your fish to have the biggest muscle possible? Maybe if you're trying to make it like a show fish and you're trying to get it in, well, I wanted to show you guys something that's pretty cool. What's the matter with you? Hey, hey. What's the matter with your mind and your mind and you look so divine? Come and get your love. Come on, where the hell did the fish go that I was looking at? Fish, fishies. And where did it go? I had a perfect example of this for y'all. Well, we're gonna start looking at fish while I talk anyways, because I feel like my face is boring and I would like to look at something other than my face. But great question, Jan. And I hope that kind of answered it. But you know, what's interesting is we don't know if the play and whatnot, you know, they crave it. Sure, some fish crave repetitive behavior, but also if you come to the front of your tank, a lot of fish will come and crowd. Does that mean that they needed food, or did they need interaction with you? They don't need interaction with you, they want the food. So you have to kind of get at what it is that they are evolved to do. Does it make sense that they would be evolved to go towards people? No, that's a terrible thing to evolve when humans eat fish. But if there is a benefit for generation after generation after generation, this is where we're like, well, maybe the epigenetics can override that fear response, that fear instinct. And that's why we say there's a difference between thought and instinct, because thought can override instinct. You can sit there and think, I'm going to die. I need to like not go into battle. I do not want to go to war. Yet soldiers will still go into war and be brave, even knowing that they're probably not going to make it. And that is your thought. That is your logic overriding that gut feeling of this is not good. I should not do this, etc. So that does that happen in fish? And the answer is, yeah, it does. And in some of the fish, you know, we know that mormyrids, the clicking, the electrical sounds, how long they do them, that there's one that means shut up. And whenever they do it in the Peter's eye mormyrid or elephant nose fish in the Nile basin, also Uganda, Sudan, there's some as well. And in all those, like the Okavango, all the way down through that whole stretch of drainages. But the Peter's eye, a very common one. It's the one we usually see in the hobby. It's got the kind of diamond on it with the two gray sides to it, and then a black dot on a gray body, about yay big. And they're talking electrically. And not only can their electrical clicking and signaling map around them like sonar, but it also tells each other, it tells them things. And females have a specific wavelength that is, if I recall, it is a sine curve, whereas the males use cosine curve. I don't know if I have that mixed up, but basically, if you were to graph out what the electric looks like, what the pulses look like, that they can make, like, depending on the species, but in Peter's eye, they can make about 40 or 50 different sounds. We're calling them sounds, but it's electrical pulses. Each gender can. And they can both make both types of pulses, the male or female version, because the shut up and be quiet one that applies to male and female. Like, so if any fish, young, old, whatever, makes this one signal, pretend it's beep, beep, boop. Okay, we'll say it's beep, beep, boop. Then all the fish that are talking and might be going beep, boop, boop, beep, beep, boop, 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 beep, beep, boop, boop, and talking amongst each other, everyone shuts up for about 30 seconds to a minute. And then that fish has 30 seconds to a minute to say something else with electrical signals. And if it's a female, it speaks in the cosine, or in the sine curve. If it's a male, it speaks in the cosine curve. But that initial noise is one of each, and it's a shut up, everyone. And it's usually done when there's something like a tigerfish or some sort of predatory fish coming through the water and possibly going to take out them. Now, also, it's done when there's like a frantic, like, feeding frenzy. Sometimes they'll see it. But you can actually, if you have any of those weakly electric fish, even ghost knife fish from the Amazon, stuff like that, you can put very simple, cheap, even like your headphone jack can sense it if you have the right hookup. You can hear the crackling and the different noise. But you can, with just some cheap equipment, you can actually, like, then look at it. You can put an oscilloscope out there and actually see the forms or get a digital one, and they can track it. And so, different groups. So like the one up in northern Egypt, they say the same words, but they might be in a different frequency electrically by like 2 or 3%. And the ones down in southern Sudan, for instance, or southern Uganda, they may say the same word like boop boop, but it's maybe instead of boop boop, it's boop boop. And in the north, it's boop boop. So they actually have different dialects, even though they can understand each other when they're put together in a community. They talk, they make, so we don't know what they're saying exactly, but we know that there's at least some things that mean like, clearly this one means shut up. Clearly this one means run in another direction away from all the other fish. This one means I'm ready to breed. We know like maybe 5 or 6 cues that are pretty simple. The other ones we don't know. And we don't know if they stack them to make new meaning. And now we're using AI, and they just did this with sperm whales and with gray whales also. Now they're actually using AI for something pretty cool and useful. This is exactly what AI should be used for. And they're putting all the whale sound libraries that they have from each species into AI, and then they're asking it to create a language out of it. You can create languages by checking out the frequency. How often do the common things happen? So people's names, proper nouns, or is this a whale addressing another specific whale? Every time these two whales were together, does it always say ooh, when it sees this guy? And so every ooh means like, what's up, Bob? And they may not know that ooh means what's up, Bob, but they can get that, okay, that's some sort of greeting. And then they see that, okay, well, it's different for every time it meets a different individual, but it's consistent. So they can slowly start untangling it. And then with the AI, they can really start putting together all these databases. And now they're really learning that whales in particular have an absolutely complex language, and that they're able to talk like 500 miles, like 1,000 kilometers through the ocean and communicate. It's absolutely bonkers. Hove Aquatics, what's going on? Also, George, good to see you, buddy. 64 Simon, hello. Dagmar Haggerty, hello. And Uncle Smiley, I still see you. I still know you. I still love you. Isopod Agenda, I feel that it's going on. I do. Pea puffers I raised from eggs come toward me for food. The wild caught ones flee and hide. You know what? That's super cool. That's a really good thing to talk about, by the way, too. When you get fish from the wild, a lot of times they will be very shy. In other cases, though, they will not be shy at all. They've never had humans around. They've never had a predator that is out of the water and this big and slow and lumbering and whatever, and they're not feeling the pressure waves in the water unless your hand's in the tank. But there are fish that are just like curious, like, what the heck is a human? And they've never seen one, and they've never seen a monkey fishing. They've never seen maybe even like a dog, or an otter isn't something that common in their part of wherever they live. Maybe it's black water, shallow black water. Like, what would hunt them other than maybe birds, which are like basically a stick in the water making some vibration, and then out of nowhere, wham wham wham, its beak. So depending on what they evolve with, if it's chased by big predatory fish, if it's eaten by other mammals and reptiles and stuff, then it's probably going to be afraid of humans and movement of any sort. But you definitely see different behavior that is, like you're saying, learned. So like your pea puffers, that's super cool. And congratulations, by the way. That's not easy to raise pea puffers. I've only ever had a few successfully grow up. A lot, I can get them to spawn, but I do not have good luck getting them past like 4 weeks or so. So that's awesome. But what I was going to say, the last part of the behavior thing is we really don't know if the epigenetics can teach them something that stays. And I just saw a news story right before this live stream. This is wild. This kid in Japan that was 8 or 9 years old when they started this project. They heard that when a caterpillar is little, it turns into a chrysalis, right? Or it goes into its cocoon, and then its body digests almost completely, other than like the nervous systems, like core bits. It digests it down to like amino acids and proteins and stuff, and they then reconstitute all the parts into a butterfly, and ta-da, it comes out a butterfly, right? Insane. We've known that that's insane. But this little kid said, I think my caterpillars remember me and they come visit me as butterflies. And parents are like, sure. You pat the kid on the head. Well, this kid for school then at like 10 was like, we're going to set up an experiment. And with their teacher's help, they set up an experiment where they put them on some sort of like hot plate or something, the caterpillars. And whenever they sprayed lavender, which normally caterpillars don't mind lavender, these ones, they eat lavender plants. Whenever they would spray lavender, they would then heat up the heater plate, which is like a bad, like a danger, like, oh, I'm getting too hot in the sun or it's uncomfortable. So they're going to associate that with pain or with fear. And so they train these caterpillars for a few months so that every time lavender gets sprayed, the caterpillars get cooked a little, not to the point of dying or getting permanently maimed, but to the point of, they're uncomfortable. They're walking off the plate as fast as possible. They're kind of writhing. And another group, they gave them food. The caterpillars, they gave them choice, whatever, like leaf that the caterpillar, mulberry leaves, I think, that the caterpillar liked the most whenever they smelled lavender. Then they grew those up. And even though in the cocoon stage, their brain is dissolved and basically like it's insanity, somehow the DNA or epigenetics or RNA, or honestly, science doesn't have an answer quite yet. But even though everything gets reshuffled at a molecular level, not all of it, but like the majority of it does. Even then, those caterpillars, the ones that were controlled, didn't care one way or the other about the smell of lavender. It didn't really change their behavior. But the butterflies that smelled lavender that were in the hot plate would immediately go as far away from the smell as they could go. And the ones that were given treats would come to the smell of lavender and like taste the source and be like, what's going on here? So clearly that shows there's some connection that existed even with the cognitive part of the brain being reshuffled. We're also learning that, like octopus, for instance, they think, and it's in their skin, they remember reflexes and how to do something. And it's like they may change color, but it's their eyes that see the color. It's not their brain that says, okay, you cells, the cell on the left, go this way. You open up so that it's more red. You close up so the red's less over here and it's more blue, like to match like the pixel by pixel of the world around them. Instead, the skin itself has like set motifs for each layer, set patterns. And basically the brain just needs to send a signal to all the layers. Then there's another set of neurology that goes the other way. So like one layer of skin would give that first signal of everything to go blue. Then the next layer above is how many of the blue do we turn or do we cover up? Then the next layer up is how many red do we turn on? So by doing these simple orders, one layer at a time, you can basically use like the equivalent of in early computing, a punch card pattern that's saved. You can take that. And so what the brain does is it creates the punch card. their skin has all the punch card creation ability, so that it really quickly, in a matter of like 6 signals, it can change all the different color patterns it needs to, basically kind of like by placing the punch card or the signal from the brain over the thing. So it can skip the step of having to tell each individual part of the skin, hey, flex and make this color. Hey, be this shade of that color. Instead, it's kind of predestined by breaking the task up into the eyes see one part and it's dealt with here. The neurological system is actually in the heart and diffused throughout the body in these like glands that are kind of like lymph nodes, but for brain or neurological function. And then, of course, at the actual site, there is a host of cells, like just like we have nerve cells, they basically have a little director, a little thinking nerve cell that helps coordinate. Really, really fascinating stuff. Lady Nugridia, hello. I'm glad you think that's insane. Also, Syrian, Arkansas. Hello, Arkansas. Arkansas. Anyways, let's look at fish. Let's look at dreamfish. Alex, you have waffled on about basically fish intelligence and filters that had nothing to do with the title of today, but so it be. So be it. So be it, Alex. So be it. You guys are still here with me. You guys are still driving, doing water changes or whatever. So we'll keep rocking until the wheels fall off. No, not quite that long. Hopefully we can make it just before the wheels fall off, till we're sparking on the rims, maybe. All right, share screen now, guys. Sa Kenya, Barabissima, Sabenya, oh mama. Okay. Oh, I mean, your song one more time. Show me that you love me. Okay. Now I wanted to the other day just to tickle my own fancy. You know, I love Imperial Aquatics. I went down there not because they sell stuff that I own, and the honest reason is I live in a tiny house. I used to live in an apartment. I've never had 150, 200, 880, 240 gallon tanks, stuff like that. Am I against them? I kind of did have a what do you want to call it? A knee jerk reaction of, those are, I don't need those. Like, it's kind of mean to keep a fish that big, whatever excuse I kind of made up at the time. But all that being said, there are some really cool fish, obviously, that get bigger, and some of them don't get huge, but I just ruled them out because I'm like, oh, they're mean, or oh, they're a little too big, or I don't know what I'd keep with it, or I don't want to have a 120 gallon tank and only keep 3 types of fish. I'd rather have a nano tank that's 70 gallons and have 40 species in there in big groups and oddball fish, and collect till my heart's content. That's kind of how I have evolved in the hobby. But I realize that there are plenty of people who love their big, Tanganyikan tanks, or they've got kind of like a showpiece, just showstopper. And I wanted to show some of these incredible ones that Imperial Tropicals has, because I've been there. I've toured their place. You can go see the tour from 2022. I was there again in 2024. And that was the last time I traveled anywhere. But look at this. They've got Madagascar rainbow fish for $8.99. Now, this is not a good picture of them. They are, when they color up, these things are like blood red, beautiful, with like yellow and even a little bit of like a lime green kind of color mixed with it, like a yellow lime green, and then it goes to blue in the center of their caudal fin. Females have more of like a yellow and green haze. And then like black is common with the red. White is also common with the red. But I mean, there's something to write home about for sure. They're really pretty. But here you can get even like a sexed pair for 13 bucks. I mean, that's crazy. That's a really, really good deal. I bought some of these at Aquarium Co-op, and they were $20 a fish, unsexed. I mean, I paid a lot for them. Same with, you know, they've got in here some of these incredible cichlids that are just, you know, they're human-made morphs, a lot of them, not all of them, but you can get, for instance, here, 1 male, 3 females, the German strain, 129 bucks. I mean, with that breeding, 1 male, 3 females, with cichlids, you know how many babies you would have? What would you even do with that? And this is 3 to 4 inches, so they're pretty much, they're not quite full grown, but I mean, they're big fish. They're almost mature. If you got the mature, well, they have the more mature one right here, 4 or 5 inches. Anyways, they're yeah, they can get 6 or 7 inches. 6 is even more realistic, but again, an incredible fish, beautiful fish, $9.99 a piece. So they've got a lot of really cool fish in there. This is another one that's like, if I had this tank space for it, I would get these. This is one of the human morphs that I mean, sure, it could happen in the wild, but this is a leucistic that then had the albino gene. And what does that mean? Well, it means that it's a little different than if the normal one had the albino gene. So it didn't have any melanin, no melanin, but it did keep the iridescent blues, and it does have red and orange. So it's kind of weird that it's got blue and yellow and orange and red, even a hint of like metallic greens and white, but no black, no, not even a dot in the center of the eye that's black. And they sell them at about this size here usually. Sometimes here's the smallest size you can get them for. But they're usually, I mean, these fish are very expensive normally. These are the tanks. When you see the blue background at Imperial Tropicals, that means that it's gonna be sold out of that tank. Whereas these tanks are sometimes show tanks or spawning tanks. But the fact that they're breeding all this stuff in the US and that I want to encourage paying more, and I'm not paying, you wouldn't be paying more for these. These are crazy prices, like $4.99 for an actual wild cichlid. Like they've got the convict cichlid, they've got the black convict cichlid. I think these are really cool. They've even got some red on them, and gold. But those I just think are really neat. So what was I gonna show you guys? The other thing, special collections, new arrivals. We're gonna go here, and then so the other thing right now is they've got some pretty cool stuff right now, like green Moscow. Now, why is this cool? Why would you pay for why would you pay 40 bucks for a trio, which is actually a great deal? I mean, for a pair, 1 male, 1 female, 30 bucks, 15 bucks a fish. That's a great deal. For a solid green Moscow guppy line with the perfect delta tail, and the high fin, no Dumbo ears, it doesn't look like, but it does have pair fins with color and everything. The female does have a bit of a hint of the color, which is helpful for if you're doing breeding projects. But the reason why you would pay, I mean, some people will pay $100 for this fish. The reason why is because the genetics on a true green Moscow or a blue Moscow or a red Moscow, you know, these classic lines, it is so established. Like here's another, for 15 bucks, you can get a trio. Or well, $39.99 actually for the trio. Sorry guys, I spoke too soon. But these are they have like rainbow. I wish they had a better picture here. Yet again, they do themselves a disservice. But the female here has a big dark tail, has the top a dorsal fin that's color. It's got color on it. Same with their anal fin, has a bunch of color on it. Their pectoral and paired fins have color. So the females, again, really, really nice for breeding projects because you can tell what's what, who's who. Same on these red flamingo. Is the wave of the future. It used to be such a, and I see why they're selling out quick. But what I'm saying is, for instance, the flamingo guppy. If you find a guppy that you like on here, you think's cool, that's great. Get it just because you like it, right? But if you're doing a breeding project where you're like, oh, I just want to turn my guppies a little more red, or I wish that they had a big tail fin, and mine all have the flared split swallowtail. Well, there are charts online, and there's information out there for you about these big established lines that will tell you like what you need to do. And I think that's super, super cool, super useful, and helpful. Ollie said, Puffer said, I have 3 Fahaka puffer tanks, but the Fahaka live also with small fish. They aren't actually piscivores or fish eaters. So it's not just one fish in each tank. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, that's how big is that tank, Jan? That's incredible. That's neat. I never got to see your setup. I don't remember if you invited me, but I'm gonna pretend like you did, and that I didn't. I couldn't make it. Obviously, I was too busy. While we were down there, the 2 times I've been down there, I've been pretty busy both trips. But I need to come back down there. I wanted to be down there so badly for AGA. I'm still beating myself up over the fact that I couldn't come. I hope my health gets better in that sense. Anyways, Sued McGill's $9.99. That's a really good price. But look at this Banjo Catfish. This is like, what? And they even have a 5-pack for $35. If you use Fishtory, you get a discount. You basically get your sales tax taken off, the Florida sales tax. And also, it just helps my channel out. But I do want to support what they're doing just because they have some really beautiful fish that, aren't necessarily the speed of the stuff that I would usually say, guys, check out what Aquatic Arts or what, the different people I've worked with over the years. A lot of them do nano fish. They do live bearers. Maybe they do the dwarf cichlids. But they don't do these, they don't do this. I don't even want to try to pronounce this. But again, like, look at the beautiful fish there. $69. I mean, just look at that thing. Again, it's about a 7-inch fish. But I mean, just incredible. They even got video of this one, which is nice when they have that. A lot of these kind of haplochromis, they have these. This is a cool deal they have there at Imperial too. Another thing is they do have these red zebras too, which are the frontosas that are red for only $7.99. That's a crazy price. But the haplochromine package. So this is 3 males that they send you out of any of those haplochromine species. They send you them, and they're good size. They're 3 or 4 inches, or you can get them even bigger. You can get them full grown for basically $50 a fish, whereas it's closer to around $25 a fish if you want to order them almost full grown, which to me is like, I don't know, if you're going to get them and put them in an established tank with other cichlids, then you probably do want to keep get mature ones that are of size. But they're doing a lot of stuff at Imperial Aquatics. Like here, you guys, I hope you can see this. Yeah. So the crazy lines that they're breeding, like, sure, there have been some specimens that are close to this, but that is like next level human helping this color get like this. I mean, holy cannoli, ravioli! Look at that, that fish. That is a showstopper. That would be pretty cool to have and to hold. You know, whereas they're small fish, this is what I was talking about. Like, you think, okay, well, they got big fish and they got a good price on big fish, but that's because they're a monster fish place. Yeah, well, look, they've also got the pseudomcgill Gertrude, the blue eye pseudomcgills. Well, they're all blue eyes, but these are the ones that kind of don't really have a good common name other than Gertrude or Gertrude. But again, look at all these fish they have that are small. So there's pseudomcgill furcata, or the forktail pseudomcgills. There's the neon red, or the luminatus. There's the Madagascar ones they had. They're all under $10. Western rainbow fish, the dwarf rainbow fish. The other thing, so these are only $6.99, and I haven't seen them that price in years. So I was saying that, man, I really want to get some of these, or the luminatus. These sell for 10 or 15, well, not 15, 10 or $12 locally at my fish stores around here. And they're really easy to spawn. They spawn on a mop. It's a lot of fun to spawn pseudomcgills. Plus, they're an active fish and a beautiful fish, and the males dance around and do their little twirly twirl. Also, they have some really nice these blue paradise gourami. Again, it's not a wild one. It is a man-made line, but that is the first fish that was ever kept in the aquarium hobby that is truly tropical. Again, I mean, look at some of these fish. For this Compressiceps with the freaking sail fin, $19.99. How? I mean, and you can see a tank of these. Stunning. Females get that more platinum look. How many Amano shrimp did they get here? I always tell people, do not go and look at the price and it says $26 for a shrimp. No. It's 6 shrimp for that. So, you know, that's basically $4, $5, just over $4 a shrimp for those. But this is just their deals bin. I just wanted to encourage y'all to check this out. Like, look at these. I use these as the thumbnail. Only $79. I would never have these. I don't have these. I don't have room for these. But okay, here, pick and choose. I'll help you with your question in just a moment, buddy. I saw your question. I'm gonna finish up just on this page here. Oh, nice. 300 gallons for Ollie, and then 185 for Polly or Polly. Oli Polly, Roly Poly Ollie. Let's see here. Oh, Wally. There we go. I knew the third one would be something like that. That's awesome. Oh yeah. Findig 2027. I hope I can come down for that too. I would really like to. Also, Hydrocooled Carrot. Good to see you. Sorry that YouTube sucks and that they don't tell anybody. I mean, there's 46 of you here. We used to have, 200-300 people would pop up on some of these. Now we're lucky if like 15 people even hear about the freaking live stream while it's live. Like Ollie the pufferfish says, you gotta like turn on your alert, unfortunately, like with either I mean, the best way probably is there's different apps you can use out there, but I think the best solution right now is actually just to get onto the Discord and put your alerts on for announcements, because every time I go live there, I don't even post it. It doesn't let me decide. I could either turn off all alerts or not, but it doesn't let me decide. It just says, okay, that you're posting these. So Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm. So wait, what? What? How can these be unsexed, wild caught? Oh, the normal color ones. Okay, got it. Whereas the captive bred are the 24 carat. I see. But yeah, I mean, that's insane. You guys, if you've never seen these fish before, they normally look like this. Oh, I got caught. That sucks. That's what he's thinking. But man, that is a show-stopping fish right there. Look at that male with his like little pimple on his head. Epigenetics. Although, I would assume, looking at these fish, I would have assumed that the male is the one on the left. If it weren't for that red nuchal hump, I would have assumed that, because of how rounded the fins are. You see that the end of the dorsal fin, how rounded it is on the fish on the right. The fish on the left, it's like pointy. It looks like a faux hawk, and that is usually an indicator of male or female. Usually when it's pointy, um, and or choppy, like it has a terminus in between the fin length, along the fin length. Same with the anal fin, very rounded on the fish on the right. The fish on the left, more boxy. I'm just kind of shocked that, well, with the bump on the head, that's going to be the male. They also have dove eyes here. Again, never would I ever have these. Look, this one's literally caught down in Florida somewhere, I guarantee you. But never would I have a dove eye. Now, you could get something like a Cuban. Kenny of Danikin Aquatics and his wife, $14.99. This is one of those misleading ones where like it should be, $400 no matter what, because you need 180-gallon tank or whatever it may be, to even accommodate this thing. Yeah, at least 100 gallons is what they're recommending. They have up to 400 eggs at a time, and they're incredibly cool fish, very intelligent, extremely violent and territorial. These Central American, all these fish right here are real angry. The yellow jacket, the 3-spot, the generals are really, even though I'm not seeing one of those, but the generals are really angry as well. The Cubans, the black Cubans, and the dovei, all very, very aggressive and angry fish, and yet they're under $20. Kind of wild. Their green terror, though, I mean, man, Imperial Aquatic or Imperial Tropical sure has a killer lineup of, like, they go all over the world. He was just Mike. He's just over in Hong Kong and Vietnam and I think Singapore, but like getting different lines and saying, okay, ship me a crate of X, Y, and Z. And they have enough money, enough order, they do enough volume that they can order in, maybe 50 of these and make it look like they're just selling them, when really the goal is to get maybe 5 or 6 pairs spawning in 5 or 6 big vats they have on their property because they have acres and acres of room. And then they start selling whatever the best line is, so they don't have to keep buying it. Again, Starry Night cichlids, incredible, incredibly mean, but this is a fish that really should be hundreds and hundreds of dollars. $49.99. A lot of these are also like Cares species, and that being said, there are several Starry Night fish that we call that. And that, yeah, not may or may not be the one you're thinking of, but also, you know, Bozemanii. These are the Ave Creek one. I can tell just by the color, that pastel color, or at least they've been crossed with that. Whereas right here, this is more of the Papua New Guinea lake and river varietals that we've seen in the hobby for quite some time now. But you know, such a beautiful freaking fish. Only $14.99, and that's these ones. What's interesting about all this is like, well, this is just because stuff's been sold out mostly, but you're getting a 3-inch. These things get like 4, maybe 5 inches. So you're getting a female full grown for 18 bucks. That's a really good deal. So I just wanted to shout out, I mean, look, oh man, look at this incredible Parkinsoni rainbow fish. These get sold all the time. These ones in their what they call the millennial drag, essentially, like this albino millennium. When it has this, it's that red. It doesn't necessarily mean albino, but there's a red color that a lot of these they have. Then they'll call it like they'll have the name of the fish, and then it'll say millennium, and then, you know, rainbow fish. So it could be the Irian millennial red, you know, but instead right now that's not what they're called. But again, 10 bucks, and they're selling them at 3 inches, which is like, that's mature enough to spawn. Same with like these Parkinsoni, same with these deep creek. I mean, Chang at Moonlight Aquatics is selling some really rare rainbow fish as well. But I mean, Imperial Tropicals is coming right up on them with for 10 bucks. Like, are you? It's wild. Like, I'm really surprised in this day and age. But this is what happens when you can go direct to consumer, direct retail via farm to retail. Again, they've got a lot of really cool stuff from, you know, the Wade Haifa Sobercon, the blueberry tetras, only $14.99. Buenos Aires tetras, $4.99. So there's good deals to be had. Even this candy cane one. Now, I'm guessing this Ember Tetra or this Candy Cane Tetra, $8.99. What do you get for $8.99? A 3-pack. Yeah, you get 3. So they're less than $2.99 a piece, guys. That's a really good deal. So, anyways, if you haven't checked out Imperial Tropicals, they also, you know, are really friendly, outgoing, family-run company, as well as like some of their employees work there, and they're like husband and wife, and then like their brother, and then their cousin. Like, it's crazy how many people work there that are like a true extended family. But again, these, I love these. I've got a whole video explaining in depth how this happens, why these turn silver in the wild. If these are the quote unquote gold ones, then they have to be wild caught, by the way. So these are wild caught when they have this silver look like this. If they are just mildly silver, like this color of a silver here, then they're not the same thing. Now, these can also manifest as actual gold, like metallic, intense gold. It looks like someone, you know, they're wrapped in gold foil. But again, there's so many fish in here, like the Von Rios. Again, 3-pack. These are beautiful. These are one of my very favorite tetras. I think they look incredible. They look like a tasty drink on a beach on a tropical day. They're just really cool. Raccoon tetras. So these have been going for $16.99 a piece. What are they selling them for? What are we getting? Is it just one? So it is just one still there at that price, but they are, okay, they're full grown though. So that's interesting. Oh, they have panda tetras. That's cool. So anyways, I won't go through all of these, but I wanted to mention, oh, they've also, okay, I need to get these. Oh no, they're sold out. Okay. I was going to say, I've been looking all over for these, which are the SBI um, Nanostomus, the pencilfish. These come out of Paraguay and Suriname, and they haven't been exported since 2011 just due to reasons. Economic reasons, gold mining reasons, and political reasons. But these have been available for the last year, and I've been wanting them. They have they are pencil fish. Sorry, that was the word I was looking for. That have their par marks, or rather, their little char broil, looking like a steak. Their marks are going the opposite direction that you would expect on any fish that you probably familiar with in the cyprinid or in the family of those little fish or top minnows, and they're really cool. Just the way they look and the way they just behave. They kind of float just delicately and kind of hover, which I always like fish that just kind of hover about and look like angelic. All right, let's see here. So popping back to life. Sorry that took so long. Me dreaming of things. Let's see here. Pick and choose though. I was gonna help you out with some stocking ideas. Also, Starry Night Cichlid is one good looking fish. Yeah, I feel you with your freaking aquatics, Jim. I feel you, man. I need to get a couple female paradise fish. I have a couple of males in different tubs. Yeah, get on that. And there's so many cool genetics out there. And they're so much fun. They're so ready to get it on those fish that if you have them now, if they're outside and they're eating lots of mosquito larvae and doing their thing, I bet you almost anything that whenever you put a lady in there, they're gonna be like, oh, I'm ready. The female they may even need to see the female in a jar and chill for a minute, or a bag or whatever, have them seeing each other and let's see if the male attacks, because sometimes, especially in outside in the summer and everything, when they get the cool nights and the water and they can smell the hormones in the water and all that stuff, I swear the males sometimes get a little too crazy. Sydney, also great to see you, and thank you for thank you for your kind email. Also, I hope the questions got answered. She emailed me about some of her mystery snails and some questions, but great to see you. I always love when I talk to someone in chat or wherever, and then we cross paths or somebody pops in. It's like, yeah, I'm real. I'm not a chat bot. I'm not anything like that. It's me answering the emails. Yeah, let's see here. Also, let's see here. Jeff going on about that. Let's see here. Mike, what's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Scholars Retreat. I like that name. There's gonna be a story there. Also, I said I would answer, which I did not forget. I'm going back to find it. The pick and choose question, which was, here we go. Boom, right there. Bra, bra, bra. Okay, so any idea is for a 7 gallon, huh? So that's about what? 30 liters ish, cube. Wait, where'd it go? Lots of plants, driftwood, tannins, etc. Okay. So if you're thinking, this is what I would say. This is the kind of tank you want to make. a lac water tank. Now, that's a stupid term I made up, but it's black water that looks like it's got some of the tannins, and it's got the presentation. It's got the botanicals that would appear as though they are intense. I don't know what your tap water is like out of the water, but or out of the wall or out of the ground. So if you have soft water already, you have to be a little bit careful about adding too many botanicals without also adding some crushed coral or minerality to kind of counter that and buffer it, and make sure your pH is not going to just go down to 5 or something that's so low that plants aren't going to do well. You really want to dial your, and it's harder in a small container. I actually have pretty good guidance if you want a guide to my filterless 2.5 gallon. I know that you've got more to work with than that, but my 2.5 gallon Neocaridina, my yellow shrimp tank for profit. The way I set that up using a Brightwell or a Fluval, Stratum brand aqua soil, that'll, if you have neutral water, say it's around 7.0 TDS, under 100 somewhere, but like if you have pretty neutral water like that, then that substrate would buffer you just enough that your tank isn't going to swing and go crazy and crash, but it also would have like a KH of probably 2 or 3 and a GH of like 3 or 4. Now granted, you probably want more than that, so you will want to add a little crushed coral from there even so, and I say that in that video. But then what you could do is you could have a lac water tank. And so what you would do is you would boil your botanicals. So you would get something that looks very pine coney or very palm tree leafy or very like a nut pod or a lotus pod. So here, actually, let me see if I can find what I'm talking about. Call me Mr. Charm, Mr. Charm, Mr. Charm. Call me Mr. Charm, Mr. Charm. I could never, ever, ever, ever do you harm, Mr. Charm, Mr. Charm, Mr. Charm. Life's not about just making money. Let me show you how we spend it on your honey. Quiet. Okay, bang. Bang, I said, bang, bang, my lover shot me down, bang, bang, to the ground. Okay, so as I was saying, probably sorted through about 3,000, but wait, what just happened? Just did a guppy sort today, 50 males and 50 females. Culling is the hardest part. Wow, that's cool. That's a lot of fish you're dealing with there, though. 3,000, an outside pond set up by my buddy. It's gonna take the rest for his cattle trough. Very, very cool. I would so love that. Yes. So, Sydney, you are so very intelligent. So very. Maybe I'm see-through. Maybe I'm a predictable chump. But that's exactly what I was going to say is, you know what? If I were stocking a 7-gallon cube and I wanted it to look black water, I would say, you know, I need botanicals. And it's really going to be it's truly an aquascaping gig, which is really fun. I love that about it. And so we pop in here and sure, I mean, there's stuff, if we're going to do quote unquote lac water, which would mean that we don't have the low pH and we don't have the crazy low KHGH, and also the tannins aren't crazy. So basically we have a little bit of tannin vibe. We have it mildly acidic, but plants can still grow. A true black water tank, plants cannot grow, and you basically have sand dash gravel or stone, and maybe some botanicals, but really more even just like rocks and the gravel and maybe wood, like chunkier wood, is really what you would see. And then you have very acidic, and so plants, like live plants, are not there. Just the debris of plants end up in black water. And to me, that's not nearly as fun as a tank that you can plant and have some stuff in, because flooded forests very often will have, like, just like we talked about the new species of gourami they found. It lives in Vietnam. The ground there is mostly karst or limestone, very carbonate and calcium rich stone. But it rains from like monsoons and things, very, very pure, almost like distilled RO water. Uh, and when all that falls, it collects into places, it collects together eventually, and you get it in places, and it creates flooded forests and little spots. Ooh, aquatic arts, you dirty dogs. You got $54. Please tell me that's for, oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna buy these. Sorry guys, distraction. I'm not even telling you guys about this. Anyways, use the code Fishtory15 to get 15% off every time at Aquatic Arts. I'm gonna show you their botanicals, but holy smokes, I'm definitely going to get that. Definitely going to get that Beta Embolus deal. That's crazy. Now, 7 gallons. What I would consider is still want some sort of cleanup crew. And if you can, it's best to get something that's not going to outsize the tank a ton. So you could do a little auto sinkless or something, but I would more recommend something like these nearites, these sunthorn mini nearites. Those are great. There's another one called the antler nearite snail. Let's see if we can find those. That sometimes you can get. Come on. Stop. Snails. No, come on. Why is this just bound to not work with me today? Nearite snails. So these antler nearites are one of my favorites. If they have them at the moment. Did they run out? They ran out literally like yesterday. They had these. We'll check back if they have these soon. But these pink ladies, as they're called, sometimes they call them antler because of the pattern on them. We'll see. Sometimes they call them antler nearites or other things, but they're really good for their size at cleaning any of the hard algae. So if you had like a nearite snail of some sort, plus they can withstand a little more acidic water sometimes, as long as you have some KH in the water for them. One of these thorn guys, or maybe even 3 of these, they're cheap. They're $3.99. They get even cheaper if you buy multiple. But those are great, and they, oh, here we go. Here's fancy antlers. Now they're charging more because they're calling them fancy, but I think they just picked out the brightest colored ones. There's the other ones I showed you, they're the same species. They're the Clethon sowarianum, and the olive nearites are cool too, but that's a different story for a different tank. So for the 7 gallon, then you get them cleaning up, and none of those nearites create too many of those little white dot eggs that lay everywhere. Some of them are just absolutely obnoxious. So what I wanted to show you guys about too is these combo packs, if that they do there. A lot of times for sales and things, they'll do even more stuff. But you could also, instead of that, you could do something like an amano in that 7 gallon. They're not going to breed in the tank. I mean, you could do any shrimp in a 7 gallon. So feel free to go nuts if you wanted to get, a breeding colony. Go for it. That might be a good way to do it, honestly. Get a breeding pack. So like one of these, bred by Aquatic Arts, one of these deals, and you get in it, look at the botanicals you get. So you get a chunk of banana leaf, 2 pieces of cholla wood, 3 pieces of guava leaf, the little mini alder cones, and the 5 catappa almond leaves. That's just one. There are a bunch of different packs that they offer now, but these come with your neocaridina or your amano, whatever shrimp set you wanted. So you could get, like, from them right now, they've got the yellow eye shrimp too. They don't have the orange eye demons or anything, but they do have the yellow eye red and yellow and clears. And then they have oh, interesting, they have a black mystery snail breeder combo that's got the orange dots on it too. But anyways, sorry guys, just sidetracked by my own like surprise or whatnot. Also, I love these algae cleaning snails, the double spike ones. These ones they do clean a lot, but they're kind of big. They're kind of for a bigger tank. But the point was, yeah, you could do. I mean, you can also do when they have them in stock. Like they have the deal where you pay $89 and you get 10, and you get like 6 females that are guaranteed to be all the highest grade that they have, and they guarantee 6 females either buried or fully grown, and 4 males, or however it breaks down. There's different packs that you can get, but then on top of that, for the $89, you also get a year's worth of food in sinking pellets in the soybean husk, in the pollen granules, which is like superfood and a treat for shrimp. And then you get those leaves, which you could stain the water with and all that. Now, that being said, the leaves are great to be in there decaying, to be in there breaking down. That's great in a 7-gallon, in any tank really, but you don't want so many in there that you are actually that you have just debris and organic matter to the point where your acidity starts dropping, or rather your acidity increases, your pH starts dropping, and your tank then becomes a hostile place for beneficial bacteria and for your plants. You don't want that. Too black of water, too dark of black water tanks become that. They become a vernal pond, essentially. But what I was going to say is, botanicals leaf litter. Here we go. They have those packs though, where you can get just the females. Basically it's loaded with like females, and you can get that with neocaridina, with their caridina, with their crystal shrimp, with their bobalti shrimp. Any of their shrimp pretty much have a package deal that comes with this. So that's just leaves. Now, the one thing about the leaves is, if you want their impact on the chemistry, then just throw them in your tank. Especially these little alder cones. These things here in the center will absolutely nuke your pH. They will, for this size, they're like the size of your pinky fingernail, and they will completely, like 3 or 4 of them in that 7-gallon tank probably would change your pH from 7.0 to 6.0 overnight, possibly. I mean, they can be that strong. And to the point where they've killed a lot of fish. I've seen people just throw, like, it comes in a baggie of 20 of these, or however many that is there. Like, there's a penny next to them a second ago. Here, for reference, here we go. This spot right here. And that penny, that many there, like a 20-gallon tank, that's going to drop it to like 6.0 possibly, just these alone. And it'll get darker and darker and darker for like a week. That being said, you can boil them, and then you can still get the cool look and the surface area that the shrimp want to graze on, but not all the crazy tannins. And that's why I call it lac water. So then you can go in and you can buy things like 3 of these lotus pods, like 1 of these lotus pods. Can you buy, what's the deal on these ones? I forgot. Do they have any more? Oh, I thought they had a deal where you could get, maybe they do. Oh yeah, Aquatic Arts combo. So here's just different combo packs they have. They also have the jackfruit leaves. They have the cinnamon leaves, the catappa bark, which is the almond tree. They have the coconut shells. I mean, they're a really great place to go for all of this stuff. They also have the coconut stem petals, the moringa leaves. These are one of the only green plants that you should put in your tank, just because medicinally they're actually really good antifungal, antiparasitic for invertebrates. The banana leaves, kind of pointless. They don't do a lot eat for tannins, but they do have that look of leaves, and they are surface area. So I shouldn't say useless, but they're surface area, just like bamboo leaves. They're surface area for beneficial bacteria. But here we go, right there, Breeders Combo Pack for Silawase shrimp. That's what you could get, and boom, you got the cool lotus thing for your cube. You got the alder cones. You've got a few leaves to try out. And you could always get that. I mean, for only $15, it's a really good deal. You can also, for $30, try out all their food, including spirulina, algae wafers, sinking pellets, cold pressed flakes, pollen granules. It's a lot to check out. And then the casuarina pods. They also have the Indian catappa seed pods. Here's another botanical pack you could go for. So there's a lot here at Aquatic Arts. It's all very safe and tried and true. They actually have tea bags with the tannins in it, so that and this is another type of catappa leaf or almond, Indian almond, bitter almond. But also look at this Aquatic Arts mixed fruit botanical leaf: mango, guava, banana, jackfruit. I kind of wanted to order some of this too, for the same thing you're doing, is making a black water tank. That I'm not going to make crazy black water, but I would like to have the look. Same with, like, in here, there's different, like, Buddha's hands or Buddha's palm or Buddha heads, whatever you want to call them. They have those bigger, I mean, big chunky like that, like coconut pods. Then they have the betel nut, and they also have the coconut. And they actually had recently the catappa fruit, which was the actual, like, off the tree fresh type stuff, kind of crazy. And they've usually got, you know, different packages too, if you look around, for if you need your crayfish, and, like, does a crayfish actually want this versus the other stuff? I don't know, but you just see there's a slight difference in some of the stuff. Let's see here. What is this counting? What? Choya wood bark, coconut petal, coconut hut. Interesting. I don't know which stems these are from. If they are just coconut stems without the top, without the little bottom of the coconut. I don't know. So going all the way back, let me check the chat real quick. Sorry, guys. I don't want to abandon my chat. Panda loaches. Oh, I love panda loaches. Man, panda loaches are cool. Panda loaches are the coolest thing in the whole wide world. And then I wish I had like 1,000,000, because they're super cool. Yeah. So, guys, if you're going to go to Aquatic Arts, yeah, get that 15% off the top, Fishtory. Then also, you know, we gave away $1,000 of gift cards between stuff this year as a thank you. I try to do that every either holiday or on the anniversary, or, you know, when we hit 100,000 subscribers, I gave away 100,000 pennies. So, yeah, do the um, it's not a Tide Pod. Do the what's the pod? The almond or the coconut pod challenge, and check out Aquatic Arts and Tropical Imperial Tropicals. Use code Fishtory. Get your sales tax gone. I know it's not the best deal. I'm still fighting to get y'all a better percentage, and I've literally been like, take it out of my percentage. I want people to get a better percentage. Then I just buy it with get the discount because I don't get a discount like buying stuff from them or anything. So literally, I would use whatever the code is to then buy stuff from there, and to me, that would be worth it too. Yeah, the menu at Aquatic Arts is rough on a computer sometimes too. Even even on the phone actually, it does some like really jumpy stuff. And then when you try to go over the UI, there could be some refinement. Motab B, Fishcapades, Beto. We got so many cool people in here today. So many people coming through. Randall Band, what's going on again? Pick and choose, Chili Red. Oh, yeah, we're going to look at your fish for that 7-gallon too. I just got so sidetracked talking about botanicals and all the mechanicals and the animals had got neglected. Panda Loach is my favorite fish for sure. My pair are amazing. Panda Gara are cool too. The red-tailed panda, not Gara, but wait, red-tailed Gara. Red-tailed Gara, that's what they're called. Oh, I love them. I still have 2 of them in one of my big 40 breeders that's on the bottom rack in my fish room. Like one of my most nothing tanks. There's no filter on it or anything. And they're still just doing their thing, eating algae, swimming around, doing their thing. They don't really do much. They kind of sit all day in the corner and then they swim, eat algae, and then they're like fat. You can see their belly's fat. And then they go do their business, I guess, with little curly cues, just like a pleco. And then they go back to their corner. That's that. Yeah, they do have a ton of personality. I agree, Mike. They're a load of fun in that regard. Okay, so if I pop over to here, oh, that was easy. Go over to fish. They've got really cool fish over here lately, like crazy cool fish. The Aquatic Arts, no offense. I used to, no offense to them since they are an affiliate of mine, but I kind of had them as my shrimp and, somewhat common, but like, oh, I need a dozen neon tetras. Like that, they were good for that online and for crabs and crayfish and shrimp. They were my favorite. They were the best quality. Customer service is phenomenal for different things. Like if you need breather bags, if you need a chiller, they have some crazy good deals on chillers, like for keeping your tank cool or for keeping native fish, live cultures, and they just work with me so well. Aquatic Arts, I love them for all of that. But Chang has all these crazy connections over at Moonlight Aquatics. And so basically the code Fishtory, you use the code Fishtory10 at Moonlight Aquatics, Fishtory15 at Aquatic Arts if you're there. And then if you're at Imperial Tropicals looking for anything, use the code just straight up Fishtory. It might all be all caps actually, but whatever. Use the code Fishtory. If it doesn't work, try all caps or try first letter caps. I think it's all caps. But anyways, those places, the one, like I thought one was for kind of specialized things and none of them overlapped much. Well, I got to tell you, nowadays, these Aquatic Arts, the stuff they're bringing in is so cool that I'm like, oh, that's the price and the selection is gone bonkers. For a while, it was really bad when they were in transition of owners, and now they're breeding in-house so much stuff. I'm so proud of David, their manager, who's weathered all these storms, including like just you know, I don't know, coming to work one day and just everything's been sold off. And somehow he was still employed and had to put the pieces together for the next guy and didn't even know if he'd have a job. I mean, just wildness had unfolded with the original owner, which was a bummer because like I ethically really liked how intense the owner was. The original guy at Aquatic Arts and his wife, Crystal, they were all about helping, you know, injured animals, rescuing fish the right way, carefully and into places that were either like private ponds if they had been in a tank with domestic fish, or if they were just going back to the wild, wild caught kind of bycatch and stuff like that. They wouldn't release, you know, they wouldn't do anything irresponsible, and they had like full on plans. They knew people like the Big Rich and the fish rescue, which you know, whatever. So long story short, though, I didn't know if that would carry over, and it has, and so has also Moonlight Aquatics. He's very nice with how he is, you know, helping people out, taking fish in no matter what. If someone comes to the store and they're like, "Hey, this fish got too big," he's like, "You know what? I got you, bro." And he'll give them store credit. I mean, it's just really cool. So everybody I work with are people who are doing the things. They are the change that I would like to see. As cheesy as that sounds, they are the change in the hobby that I'd like to see. They're doing things the right way that help the hobby overall, that decrease disease, that decrease death, that increase good genetics, and also like conservation of species. That there's a good chance if this hobby wasn't around, that they would cease to exist, a lot of these fish. But anyways, in that 7-gallon cube, you could do an all male guppy tank. Now they're going to want harder water, not black water. So that's probably not the best idea. But I just wanted to shout out all their cool guppies that we're going to scroll past to get to the fish that I was thinking for you would be good. White cloud minnows, as long as the water is not, you know, lower than 6'5" or something, they're totally fine in there. And also, this would be a really cool one too. The 2-striped dwarf cichlid, the Bitiniata. You could get a pair of these. Wait, will it let you? No. Never mind, ignore that. But you could get something like a Latiacara or a black bar, or checkerboard cichlids would be incredible. Very tiny little cichlids, like maybe 2 inches max, but they would be phenomenal in a little tank like that. This is the max I would go size-wise for a cichlid, and even that, so if they have babies, they'd be too territorial to keep with pretty much any other species. Maybe too territorial to even have their own babies. They might just eat them right away. But the checkerboard cichlids, or the filament checkerboard cichlids, or the you know, the ones that I just mentioned, are all small enough, like the black bar, or even like the golden eye cichlid, or you know, those are all great. But man, I'm thinking more and more, and I'm like, man, I want to get like one of every male, because Aquatic Arts, like, look at these freaking, like man, look at these freaking guppies. Let's go on these, man. They are really pretty. Are these? Is this okay? That's just a male. Some of them, they have pairs for that cheap. A lot of them actually. See, I don't like this ribbon tail. They actually get picked on a lot. Yeah. Okay. So that. Yeah. Some of them are 15 a pair. This one's only $4.99 for this cool pink tuxedo guppy. So anyways, some of that stuff's pretty cool that they've got there. They've got some really nice other fish in here. The red robin gourami. These are actually the thick lip gourami from Lake Inlay. And I think these are one of the most beautiful and peaceful, chill. You could get a couple of these for, I wouldn't do 3, but you could get 2 of these or 1 of these for your 7-gallon. and they can deal with pretty stagnant water too. Or you could get like a honey gourami. Maybe you could probably get 3 honey gouramis for that, or you could get some sparkling gouramis, but they're kind of assholes. The other thing you could also do would be to get something like a couple pseudomagills, but they are prone to jumping. And if you're getting a cube, probably not. I do maybe in a 10-gallon, I'd do some of those. Again, if not for your 7-gallon, but these are a great rainbow fish. And like, where are they getting these? Like, this is wild for 3 really pretty fish that it's not very common that it would be on the market in the United States. Well, anywhere, short of maybe the area they're from. But again, you're never going to go wrong with little cardinal tetras and stuff like that. You could use these Corridora hastatus. They're absolutely freaking adorable. I love them. They're probably, I don't know, they're very hard to find now in the hobby. So tank bred is available, but they're kind of pricey. They don't breed in high numbers, but they are, getting them out of the wild still. They just have become far less common. I think the hobby knows this. The other thing you could do is you could get some of the Bararis, these guys right here, the least, or rather the, why can't I think of the word? Exclamation point, Rasboras. You can get, for $3 a pop. Use my discount, get them for $250, $260 a pop. That you could have 10 of them, 12 of them, no problem. But I would probably go with more of where did it go? They also have the green dragons back, which is cool. I have no idea where they went for so long, but they're back. They're back. Also, like, just look at more live bears. They've got so many of them now here. Oh, look at these ornate checkered rainbow fish too. I've never seen these before. I don't even know. Melanotania splendida inornata. I never have seen this fish. Very cool though, for all y'all rainbow nerds. Look at these. These, man, I want these too. Like I said, you could get a nice set just to have, so that you have, I know I've got the magenta and the blue or whatever genes here, and the iridophore genes and the delta tail genes. So at least I know those are dominant and will pass on in my breeding project. Also, these rosy loaches or mango loaches, these are great. 3 of these would work great in that little 7-gallon cube. You could get these as kind of your little cleanup crew around the bottom for like leftover food, detritus, stuff like that. You could also do emerald dwarf rasboras, a couple of them. I don't know how many I would do, because they kind of need, actually, I'd say you're better off not using those in a 7-gallon, because really, if you had like a 20-gallon, you could have 15, 20 of them, and they would actually come out and be social, whereas less than 15 or so, they're usually very shy. Again, pea puffer, that's a great choice. You could use a pea puffer in there, and then you could have a couple of the neorites that are big enough that they wouldn't be food, and maybe something like a few of the rasboras, like a phoenix rasbora or something in there. That could work. I love, this is an incredible price too. Look at this, for this Asian bumblebee, Pseudomystis siamensis. These look just like the orcas almost, the mini orcas. Also, $6.99 for their swordfish and for their red wag. These were called jet platies back in the day. They were really popular. I don't know, some comic book or something. For some reason in the 50s they were popular, late 50s, early 60s. Old men in their 70s and 80s now, go on and on about, oh, I remember the jet wag red platies back in my day. Yeah. So sparkling dwarf gouramis, again, $3.99, real beautiful. They have attitude though. They definitely will eat, your shrimp. They'll decimate. They'll pick on fins of other bigger fish. But if you put them together, they are very pretty and they can do okay. You know, they can do okay, and they are small. Panda loaches are just about the best fish ever, even though they're gonna want more of a hill stream tank that has a lot of water turnover, but moreover than that, just tons of biofilm. Now you can feed them rapashi and other things, but the food is the tricky part. Ooh, better embolus, better embolus, better embolus. That's on my list. What I need for this is better embolus. So the Corridor pygmaeus, Corridor assorted dwarf. This is what I was going to tell you to get. Right here, you get 6 fish, which is great because they could give you the exclamation point. They could give you the Phoenix Rasbora, which I absolutely love. The Strawberry Rasbora, the Chili Rasbora, or the Maculata and Maculosa, is it? Let's see here. They've got, Maculatus. I was close. Maculatus and the Urophthalmoides, which is the least Rasbora. So we got the Strawberry, the Chili, the Phoenix, the least Rasbora, the Pygmy Rasbora, and the Dwarf Chili, as it's called, which is the 3 spot. But again, beautiful little fish. You could get 6 of them for $19.99. You can probably get more. Let's see what 12. Yeah, right there. I would get 12 of them. You got assorted. I mean, that would be a pleasure to watch too if you got that. Some sort of little cleaning snail or something, and then maybe some rosy loaches or some of the small cories. That would do great in there. Also, ruby tetras, freaking fabulous, incredible, beautiful fish. They're looking so good in my tank these days. I mean, they are lit up. I'm all lit up again on my couch in my bed. Here's a wild style. This is what they should look like. The yellow honey, or whatever they call them, sunset honeys, different things. This is what they look like in the wild forms. But again, I mean, yeah, Aquatic Arts has just been stepping it up. They got the purple Harlequin Rasboras back. They had Stiphodon, the little gobies, and they also had a lot of Cory species and stuff. The Cory species, though, at Blue Moon are mind blowing, and his rainbows too. There's not a better place to get them. But anyways, guys, let me hop back into the chat. Make sure I didn't miss anything from you. I mean, I'm always missing you. I'm always missing you. Motab B, Jeff, Randall Ben. Who else is in here? Charles Moore, Charles Bronson. Oh, cute bumblebee catfish. Bumblebee tuna. Alex Guppy question. How do I get the ribbon gene to cross into the Dumbo ear line? Is it through the male or female side, or should I try? But I don't know, honestly. I have stayed away from the ribbon guppies. I don't like them. Man, I have a birthmark here, but it's actually tissue. It's a long story, but you have gills when you're a fetus that don't work. They're vestigial. They're little lumps of tissue, and mine never went away. Like, they fused together. You can get them all up your neck, different birthmarks. Mine fused here on the lowest part where they happen, and they call them angel kisses. That's the stupid name, but I've only met a few people with them. More commonly, you'll see one on either side here, or right here, or tighter here, like two looks like a heart. But mine here gets irritated from time to time. Don't know, like just since we've been live, don't know why, but then it swells on the inside and pushes against the esophagus a little bit. It's just scar tissue is all this. But anyhow, learn something useless every day, right, guys? Yeah, cute bumblebee cats. I know. Yes, chili raspberries are hard to get this year, as you mentioned. The reason is, I mean, there's a few reasons, but really the bad one, which I mentioned a number of years ago, is that they're having to go farther and farther out, and they're getting less and less each time, and they're not able to collect in the same areas. A lot of the areas that once were areas to collect just simply don't exist anymore. The rivers and things got strip mined, and the banks logged, and then like have either slid in or rerouted. A lot of that stuff, unfortunately, they're gone. I wish I knew though about the genetics of what is dominant over what as far as fin styles. You might need to just, how do I get the Reuben gene to cross into the Dumbo line? Is it through the male or female? So yeah, I don't know if it is through the male or female, or if it even matters. It might be independent of that. It might be both. You know, it could just be wherever. Fish genes float, so they can be on any chromosome. We already know that even their sex chromosome, they float. So the Y and X chromosome that we thought fish had for male, female, it turns out that there's also S, R, and T can also hold the Y and X place that we would traditionally think of. Pick and Choose News was saying, did the assorted raspberries see each other as the same species? Seemingly, at least enough so that they may not tightly school together, but they shoal together, they hang out together, they eat together, they pretty much behave together. Yeah. Afghan war donkey. Those are great name. Yeah, ruby tetras are another incredible fish. I've got the school of about 22 of them in my tank over there. I need to film. They're so pretty, like you said, when that red light or like true intense white light is, well, not necessarily white light, but like, hold on, guys. My whole house is shaking slightly. I don't know if like a truck went by on the street or something, or if there really was some sort of earthquake slightly. I don't feel it anymore. Anyways, that was weird. I'm like bracing myself for the books to all fall off the shelf and hit me. I was like, we haven't had one of them shakers in a while. Probably just a truck or something going down the street. Sometimes we get moving trucks or semis that come down our side street hauling, and they'll make the shake. They'll shake, rattle, and roll. Are chili raspberries one of the species that are hard to breed? They're not like super hard to breed. They're just, nobody wants to pay more than like $6 or $7 for them at max. Most people want to pay $1 or $2 for them, really. And it's not worth the time to spend the energy and the time feeding them constantly with little food and this and that, and you know, changing the water and keeping things really fresh, having that super acidic like black water early on, and then, you know, weaning them towards eating non-live food, so they'll eat some of the flake food or pellet food a bit, and that they're not just eating infusoria, and then having them go from the infusoria to like maybe single cell organisms or like little like mid-size micro food to upper bigger size, up to like maybe scud or whatever size, and then you got to decide to sell it and have it hold weight. And a lot of times they don't hold weight because literally their weight depends on if they ate the last like 2 or 3 days with those fish. They have such fast metabolisms, so it becomes very just the profit end of it is very loaded against those people, and they happen to also be unusual enough that people want them, or at least beautiful enough that people want them still, at a rate that for a fish collector, whether the fish are selling for $5 or $15, it doesn't matter that much to the people on the ground in like Cambodia or where in Myanmar. They're going to get their same 2 or 3 pennies of fish or whatever they get regardless. So the difference between 1 or 2 more pennies doesn't mean much in the scheme of the world economy, but it really does mean a lot in the sense of if we could get them the money directly. That's part of what Ivan and I in the Green Earth Alliance have been trying to think about ways to encourage that and to keep people who are working on things in the community, to keep that money going back to the community directly, skipping all the middlemen and markups. Let's see here. Fishtory, I'm wondering how this happens, how fish lay eggs that don't survive and they consume them for so long, and then suddenly they get it right. Yeah, I don't know about that either, divided by zero. It's a great question. Is it learning? I would say so. I mean, I feel like they have a certain instinctual like, they're okay at this, or they can get it right 50% of the time, like you're saying. But they definitely don't get it right all the time. And so that is a very interesting, like, what in the hell happened that all of a sudden they're just great parents now after failing and eating their babies or getting stressed 3 or 4 different times. Is it just that they've gotten older, they've put on more weight? Is it, the conditions that, yeah, I just don't know. I mean, sometimes baby birds got to flap their wings a few times before they can fly, I guess. Yeah. Anyways, Kenny, what's up? What up, fish tank people? What up, fish people? Good to see you, Kenny, as always. I was talking about you and all your crazy fish. We were looking at some of the incredible fish over at Imperial Tropicals. They've got they've got the black Cubans, they got the general, they've got the generals, and they've got the freaking dove eyes and just every mean freaking fish that exists. Is it true that green neon tetras are hard to keep alive? No. Shipping them, they can get stressed. They are more fragile, I would say, they're more fragile than probably just your standard blues. But no, they're not that hard to keep alive. I think they're pretty easy. There are a few different wasting disorders that impact them, but they also impact your normal neon blue rasbora or whatnot. So I would say go for it still. I wouldn't let that dissuade you. Plus, they're very inexpensive in the scheme of things. Rune Wolf, hello. I hope you're doing well there. Those panda loaches you guys are chatting about are really cool. They are, and they don't touch shrimp at all. They are so cute. There's 2 species at least, maybe 3 now, and there's the golden panda loach, which has its stripes running down the length of its body, and then has kind of a golden belly that you can kind of see through like a swim bladder. And then on the Rune Wolf, And then the other kind has like a chain link pattern as it gets older, and it has that neat kind of like diamond or chain link fence pattern as it gets older, but it kind of gets the muted tan looking instead of being, you know, stark white, it's this color, you know, more like that. And instead of being black, it's more of a gray. It's more of instead of being black, it's more of like this gray here. It's like a buttercream and gray, but it's still a very very pretty fish when it transforms like that. But I had been lucky enough to find at one point somebody who was getting them, who was breeding them down in Florida. He's the guy who first figured out how to breed them in captivity. Arguably, maybe somebody in Germany also figured it out. Arguably, I also have one of the first videos documenting about 10 years ago. I got panda loaches. I got a few fry that survived, but it was total dumb luck. I just had a 40 breeder set up for them and had 20 of them in there with a few pandagaras and lots of good biofilm, lots of flow, a few power heads. I mean, it looked just like a creek or a river in half of the tank. It really did. It had sand and fine silt from the wild, not just the stuff from the store. And then they had what was it, 4 I think total is what we ended up getting out of it. I think guys, my hair I thought, oh, I got headphones on, I can't ruin my hair and look crazy. Well, fooled you, myself. I fooled you, me. You me fooled me, you. Anyhow, guys, I've been streaming for 2 hours and 20 minutes or so, and I think I'm gonna call it soon. I do feel the Chewbacca slash one eye's twitching, the other one's closed, but I always appreciate you guys. I'm glad that we waffled on. We talked about, do fish actually learn things? I don't know. Do people ever learn anything? I don't know. And the infamous ADA $500 filter. I don't know. And stocking options, plus just a whole lot of like, if you want to spend some money on some crazy dream fish, boy, howdy, Imperial and Moonlight, and we didn't look at Moonlight today, but Imperial and Aquatic Arts, top level stuff going around these days. They're hurting as a fish industry in general right now. A lot of people are, and I hope that they can kind of stave off the impending trouble that could be headed our way long enough to get through whatever happens unfolding with economics. And as much as people need to take care of their critters no matter what, fish, I feel like, are going to be one of the first to get neglected and to go, unfortunately. Anyways, guys, on all of that, oh wait, what's that? I got 10 Axelrod Sundadano from a local fish store, and they caught white spot 2 times. I only wait. They caught white spot 2 times. I only have 1 left. Oh, I'm sorry, that sucks. Yeah, Axelrod Sundadanias are very weak fish sometimes. I don't know why, but yes, they can definitely end up with like the cottonmouth or the wasting disease or ick. If they get too cool, Sundadanios die very quickly from stress and then from probably low oxygen too. But I don't know, they're just one that, like, it either does okay in the first few months and then they are troopers and they'll be around forever, or they don't make it that first week usually, and then you're just like, what the heck? Why did I spend all that money? Like, um, and poor fish, but more like, what the heck? Where's all my money go? Anyways, guys, always a pleasure to have y'all here. Thank you so much to those of you who pop in and who are supporting, just being here, chatting, asking questions, sharing thoughts, and talking to each other in the chat, introducing. We should just have a get to know you, everybody, and we can do the that 70s show thing, and each person says, hi, I'm blah blah blah, and the next person, Afghan war donkey. Name, I like it. Anyways, guys, yeah, I'm at my wall at the moment. I do have a few stories that I'm like, ooh, maybe I'll cover these in the old school form, where I'm just, standing in the dark delivering fish facts, essentially, looking like somebody held captive, reading their ransom note. But no, anyways, I've got a couple stories and news and research in the fish world and plant world that I thought was pretty interesting stuff. And I know somebody's gonna, I'll see them. It happens without fail. You see somebody post something that you're like, dang it, that's what I wanted to, I was gonna work on that, and they just get it before you. And usually it seems to be, it always involves newfangled technology that then makes curmudgeons like me angry, that also helped them get to the beating me to the punch. So anyways, all right, guys, thank you so much to the super chat for the super chats today. That was very kind and very appreciated, even though obviously never expected, ever, never, ever expected, but it does go a long way. So thank you, guys. I'm gonna go take my little nappy poo. Much love. Take care, and I'll see you again sometime soon. Goodbye. Cracker out.